January 2011. I was locked up. Weeks later, I was in solitary confinement, accused of...
Come off it.
17th January 2011. My son was born whilst I was in solitary.
Mr. Mitchell, congratulations, you're a father.
And I'll never live it down.
No! This is not happening!
I got bail. I went immediately back to using.
Yeah!
I overdosed 1, 2, 3, I don't know how many times. I overdosed again, pushing my son in a pram. And then I breached my bail. My partner left me.
Baby, I love you.
Don't go!
Come back.
Months went by. I don't want to be here anymore. I don't want this. I don't want this. I don't want this. Imagine your life as a blank canvas. You've been given a fresh start. Free from all the limitations you've imposed upon yourself and the identity that you've imprisoned yourself within. Just before my 21st birthday, I found myself sitting in a prison cell. Father to a newly born son, drug addict, and sentenced to nearly 3 years in prison for serious crimes, including robbery and assault. My whole life was in ruins. You're a failure. You're worthless. You're unlovable. We all have a story. What's yours? Born and raised in Perth, an only child to 2 creatives, my father a painter and my mother a fashion designer. The 2 earliest memories that I have are being in my mum's tiny little clothing store and hiding in the circular clothing rack, and being in between both of my parents as they were screaming at each other. They separated when I was 5, which I found incredibly difficult. I remember going backwards and forwards between each parent's house, which I hated. And school was not my favourite place to be. I talked too much in the classroom and used to get bullied by older kids. You can't tell anymore, but when I was younger, I had bright red hair. So, carrot top, ranger, and probably my least favourite, ginger pubes. I remember getting called ginger pubes before I even had any pubes. High school was fights, suspensions, wagging school, breaking into houses, dropping out of high school, and completely reimagining how I saw myself. I remember the first time I smoked meth. An older friend of mine introduced me to it, and I vividly remember smoking in his kitchen out of a light bulb. Ah, the power. I wonder what it's like shooting it up. What about
Hell. It's hell.
Just light them up.
I was completely attached to an identity I'd created for myself. Drug addict, graffiti writer, criminal, failure, worthless, unlovable. I hated who I had become. 3 months into my prison sentence, I remember reading a newspaper article talking about the percentage of people that come back to prison after getting released. I went into my cell and I talked about it with 4 other inmates. I'd already had good friends of mine that had overdosed, committed suicide, returned to prison after getting out, and a friend of mine, he was murdered.
Why would you die?
My cellmate said,
Well, I'm not off me coming back.
I remember looking at him and thinking,
Yeah, bro. You're totally coming back.
I looked around the room and it was as if I could see where everyone was going to end out.
You're coming back. You're coming back. You might just end up dead.
And then I landed on myself. I was terrified. If I continued doing what I was doing and being who I was being, I was either going to spend the rest of my life as a junkie, land myself back in prison, or end out dead. I made a decision. You have got to change things. I realized that I need to get healthy and I need to educate myself. Firstly, starting to exercise and getting my Year 10 certificate whilst in prison. This was a pivotal part of me changing my life, because after a year and a half in prison and then being released on parole, having accomplished something, I felt differently about who I was. I then focused on getting into university, changed how I dressed, altered the language that I used, and I started associating with different people.
Brushstroke by brushstroke, key by key, piece by piece, I began shifting my identity.
At the end of finishing my university degree, I began publicly sharing my experiences overcoming addiction and mental health issues. But over time, I started seeing myself as a motivational speaker, and I was disassociating with the creative part of myself. It made me feel empty, as if my only value came from the story attached to the identity that I used to have. You can't be starting from reliving who you've been if you want to create the who that you want to become.
In order to change my life, I've had to apply creativity.
But not in the typical sense of the word. More so in the sense of creating and crafting a new identity for myself. As long as I identified with being a graffiti writer, a criminal, a drug addict, I'd be bound to that reality. When you begin to look at yourself creatively, you realize that no aspect of you is truly fixed. You can create a new appearance for yourself, a new body, a new mind, new relationships, the new you that you would like to be. I stand here today, 5 years, completely clean, completely sober, living my life on my terms and following my passions.
My whole life, I've wanted to be somebody else.
Baby.
The realization came when it dawned on me that I could create
I can create
the me that I want to be.
me that I want.
And I am becoming.
I'm becoming Parys X. I'm not concerned with your opinions of me. I do what I want to do because I want to do it, and I live my life how I want to live it. Disciplined, healthy, happy. Pure creative freedom. I can create whatever reality I want for myself. And I am free to create the person that I want to become. And all of you can create whatever reality you want for yourself. And you are free to become whoever you want to become. Hey, TEDxPerth. I spent years with a weight on my shoulders, trying to change things. Felt inadequate, wonder when the pain ends. Stories in my head like the cinemas. It takes your reflection to believe in your greatness. From the days when I drowned in the darkness, nights when my heart fell apart. Who I am doesn't beg your pardon. Who we are doesn't end or start. Suicidal thoughts, depression, addiction, and broken hearts. Just a part of my story, but it ain't over till it's over, friend. And I am becoming. Yeah, I am becoming. Yeah, I am I just break down on the floor, question what's it all for. Searching for a better me, knowing I can be just so much more. Made so many dumb mistakes, sometimes I feel like up and running, but I am becoming. From the days when my future started, nights when my heart opened up. Who I am doesn't beg your pardon, who we are doesn't end or start. Hopeful thoughts, progression, succession, and no pain. Last time I write my story, but it ain't over till it's over, friend. And I am becoming. Yeah, I am becoming. Yeah, I am becoming. Becoming, 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 and I am becoming. Yeah, I am becoming. Yeah, I am becoming. Yeah, I am becoming. And I am becoming. Thank you.